Some Democrats say, I don't know. I think we should steer clear and just focus on economic issues. So, a controversial deportation case has opened a rift within the Democratic Party. Some members of the party are leaning heavily into Maryland resident Kilmar Abrego Garcia's deportation without due process, but others, while still objecting to Trump's actions, have sought to shift the focus to economic concerns amid the whiplash of president's tariffs policies. Yeah, why not both? Trump officials initially conceded that there was an administrative error. Again, their own admission. Van Hollen posted on Thursday night that he meant that he wanted to go there, on and on and on. The move won praise from Democrats who have urged the party to move more aggressively in the pushback against Trump. That included David Hogg, the 25-year-old vice chair of the DNC, who launched a new group this week to support primary challengers against older incumbent Democratic lawmakers. This is exactly what we need more of, Hogg wrote on X. We have to show people how we're fighting back and are here to protect the American people from Trump's reckless agenda. I just have to say, I love David Hogg. Like, this is a kid who became, a national figure in the wake of the Parkland shooting and his classmates being murdered and mowed down. He was vilified by the right, vilified by the likes of Marjorie Greene. And instead of shrinking away, instead of, leaving the public eye, he went to college and he came back smarter, stronger, and more determined than ever. He was clearly had leadership skills. But I'm so grateful to someone like him for sticking in this fight, because it's not easy when you're getting trolled, when you're getting doxxed. But again, the right knows who to dox, because the right knows who to target, because they're scared of people like David Hogg, because he's got so much poise, so much a moral compass. Gavin Newsom, rolled out a lawsuit on Wednesday challenging Trump's sweeping tariffs. He had little to say about the Abrego Garcia case when he was asked. This is the distraction of the day, the art of the distraction, Newsom, a potential 2028 presidential contender, said of Trump invoking the MS-13 to justify his actions. And here we zig and zag. This is the debate they want. This is their 80-20 issue as they've described it. Oh God, Gav. Once again, every Friday we talk about it. Gavin Newsom sucks. Exhibit, I don't know. However, how many exhibits do we need at this point? Posing on the bearskin rug with Kimberly Guilfoyle. We should have known from that moment. This is the distraction of the day. Guys, this is not a culture war. Immigration is not a culture war. I understand the people being targeted have Latino culture by and large, or Palestinian culture. But this is not a culture war. In fact, you could argue nothing is a culture war. In fact, all of this is about our constitutional rights. All of this is about whether you believe in law and order or you do not. You believe in the international right to seek asylum or you do not. So it's incredible that Gavin Newsom is like, oh, we're being distracted. Buddy, the Supreme Court 9-0 just said you've got to return this guy. And you're going to be like, well, I'm suing Trump over tariffs. You can do both. Stop saying that this is the divisive issue when we saw Chuck Grassley's own Iowa constituents, just corn-fed ass Iowa, being like, hey, are you going to bring that man back? And they're all concerned about all these old whites, these old lovely whites who are mad about it. So don't say that it's splitting the electorate, because people are actually very on board with this issue. They care a lot. While noting the government needs to abide by court orders and the rule of law, Newsom added it's exactly the debate they want, because they don't want this debate on tariffs. They don't want to be accountable to markets today. Shut up. This is, oh God. This is the exact thing that this is the exact thing that I was sort of excited about when the tariffs got reversed, because you're like, okay, at least now we sort of separate who only cares about the economy and their stocks and who actually cares about, people being disappeared off the streets. And by the way, a UCLA grad student was detained by ICE just yesterday, I believe, after coming back into the country from Mexico. What is Gavin Newsom doing about that? So you can separate these issues all you want, but they're not separate to the man who is enacting them. They are part and parcel of an erratic, incomprehensible authoritarian strategy that harms people, number one, no matter how they are getting harmed. And my good friend Waleed Shahid was on Chris Hayes last night, and I thought made this great point as he was being asked whether or not, Democrats should be standing up like Chris Van Hollen is, or whether they should be focused on other things.
What do you think, Lee?
This isn't a distraction, it's a test. And like the argument that Democrats are having now in Washington is the most Democratic party play of all time, which is that when someone is being abducted in defiance of the Supreme Court, we're arguing about what our strategy is for an election 930 days.
Right. That's the thing. It's like no one's who knows what anyone remembers?
It is like arguing about your fantasy football team when your house is on fire. Right. That's the equivalent. Like we have a chance to.
We're arguing about your 2026 fantasy team. Even that, it doesn't make any sense.
And so we have a chance right now to do something about a man who's being unlawfully held in a gulag and bring him home to his family. And that's what this fight is about now.
And it's not just that single man. Let's be really clear. As 60 Minutes has demonstrated, the New York Times has demonstrated, we have literally no sense of what the charges are against the hundreds of other people who've been picked up. And
this guy back from El Salvador.
This is what all these law firms and universities and media platforms, banks, this is the kind of stuff that they need to be seeing. This is why these protests are helpful, because it helps tell them who are they in defiance of, not just of, they shouldn't just fear Donald Trump, but they should fear public opinion when they kowtow and capitulate to Donald Trump. And honestly, this messaging thing is much more simple than I think some of the pundits are making it seem. The tariffs and the deportations, the abductions that are happening are part of the same story, that this president does not care about you. He is not lowering your prices. He's not lowering your groceries. He's not lowering your rent.
Right. Where's his focus?
He's focused on defying the Supreme Court and building a mafia-like state for himself and his friends, like a corrupt politician in El Salvador.
Yes, Waleed. We love it. Which, this is part of the entire thing. This is not, you can't just separate off tariffs or, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. You can't separate off people being detained for speech, right? This is also why speaking up against genocide needs to be central as we go forward. I firmly believe this. So what Waleed is saying there is look, why are we focused on 2026? Why are we focused on 2028? Why do we keep on getting distracted about polling and what's this, what's that? What is happening right now is morally and legally in the wrong on all these different levels. Your moment, your opportunity is here. It is now. If there was a moment, stop thinking. And I keep on thinking this. It's who's thinking about 2026? We're thinking about right now. We should be calling our representatives right now. And if you live in a blue state, your call is to get them to go to El Salvador. And if you live in a red state, let them know. Let them know that even if you are part of the immigrant community, if you are not, it doesn't matter. You care about this issue. It's as important to you as is the hollowing out of federal agencies, right? Because it is part of the same playbook. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.